Hello, hello, and good evening. Welcome back, or welcome if this is your first time here. We are on episode 55 of Take Me Down a Rabbit Hole. Please forgive me for having to push the time back tonight, but I'm here. How are y'all doing? Let me start there. How are y'all doing on this beautiful week? I hope everything went well for you. I hope some new developments are coming into fruition for you. Like you wanted to. Greetings, Azim. Greetings. Good to see you. Um, yeah, I hope things are flourishing for you. I just wanted to get on here and talk about a few things, a few developments that I've been noticing in the social media sphere. Where shall I start? Where shall I start? Tell me if you've seen the conversation that Lamar Odom has been having, and it's going viral. If you haven't seen it, I'm going to play it for you, and then we're going to discuss it, and I want you to let me know your thoughts on it, okay? Because I thought it was very, very interesting. He's talking about a dream that he had, and Kobe appeared in his dream. But I want you to hear what he says. I want you to hear what he says. So let me know if you guys can hear that good.
Kobe Bryant appeared to him in a dream and told him that the afterlife is not what people make it out to be. Take a listen here, and then I'm going to give a biblical response.
And he just stopped. And he looked back at me and said, "Hello, the afterlife is not what people make it up to be." And then I woke up shortly after that. And it just made me think, like, what is he trying to say? Like, could be he missed everybody, that can mean a multitude of things. Maybe he's still traveling, so wherever he has to go or have to get. I don't know what it meant. But I just take it as like, live your best life now. And
did you hear the last thing that he said? Live your best life now. That wasn't Kobe.
Okay. So hopefully you've seen that and you heard that. So supposedly Kobe Bryant came to him in a dream and said that the afterlife is not what they make it out to be. And so just reading through the comments, there was a lot of mixed emotions about it. Okay. And I'm going to tell you why. I'm actually going to go through this because I want you to see two different perspectives. And again, I want you to let me know what your opinion is on it. You said that's a familiar spirit. And people have said that as well. Because, I guess there's two thoughts here, right? Because one, we know that once we die, we're asleep. And so we don't know anything of the former life. But then at the same time, we know that God gives us dreams and we know that he speaks to us in dreams. And I don't know if you guys are like me, but I dream all the time. And sometimes there's people in it that I know. Granted, there's nobody that's passed away, and then a lot of times there's people that I don't know. And so I've kind of just tried to, just based on the dream, get an understanding of who these people are to me in my dreams and what they kind of mean. Like, for instance, when my brother or my mom is in my dream, usually it ends up coming to fruition, especially with my brother. I mean, it comes quick, maybe 2-3 days or so, not to put a timeline on it, but they usually come really, really quick for me when I see my brother and even when I see my mom. So, I don't know exactly what all of them mean, but I definitely get a lot. Even my husband's like, I think your dreams are prophetic. I think they're prophetic too. A lot of times. You said you've always been a dreamer as well. Yeah. And thankfully, I used to be one of the people that, got into the dream books and stuff like that. But then when I started reading the Bible more, I realized, God has to give us the interpretation of these dreams. And I put those dream books down. And again, like I said, I kind of just try to understand the patterns of how my dreams go. And that's been working out for me a lot better. these days. So just to go back to Lamar and Kobe. So I'm going to read a few verses, right? It might be a little long, but hopefully you're here with me. But I just want to give an idea of what the Bible says that heaven looks like for believers, and then what the so-called life of the unbeliever is. And again, I want you to give me your opinion on where you think Kobe is, because again, the comments were mixed, had mixed emotions. So in Revelation 21 through 22, it says that, and he carried me away in the spirit to a mountain great and high, and showed me the holy city, Jerusalem, coming down out of heaven from God. It shone with the glory of God, and its brilliance was like that of a precious jewel, like jasper, clear as crystal. It had a great high wall with 12 gates, and with 12 angels at the gates. On the gates were written the names of the 12 tribes of Israel. There were 3 gates on the east, 3 on the north, 3 on the south, and 3 on the west. The wall of the city had 12 foundations, and on them were the names of the 12 apostles of the Lamb. And then it goes on to kind of describe it a little bit more of the jewels and things like that. But you also see scriptures where it talks about the lamb and, the lion laying down and different things like that. Even Jesus says that there are mansions in heaven. He says that he is preparing mansions for us to go. And if that weren't so, then he wouldn't be telling us that, right? And then on the other hand, I'm not sure if you guys are familiar with the story of Lazarus. And I'm gonna read just a little bit of that because it kind of just piqued my interest, especially when it came to Kobe. So this is in Luke. This is in Luke. And it came to pass, hold on, let me scroll up just a little bit more. There was a certain rich man, which was clothed in purple and fine linen, and fared sumptuously every day. And there was a certain beggar named Lazarus, which was laid at his gate, full of sores, and desiring to be fed with the crumbs which fell from the rich man's table. Moreover, the dogs came and licked his sores. And it came to pass that the beggar died and was carried by the angels into Abraham's bosom. The rich man also died and was buried. And in hell he lifted up his eyes, being in torments, and sees Abraham afar off, and Lazarus in his bosom. And he cried and said, Father Abraham, have mercy on me, and send Lazarus, that he may dip the tip of his finger in water and cool my tongue, for I am tormented in this flame. But Abraham said, Son, remember that thou in thy lifetime received thy good things, and likewise Lazarus evil things. But now he is comforted, and thou art tormented. Okay, and then he goes on to say, pretty much like, because he keeps begging God, hey, please go send him and kind of warn him of this place. And God says he has the prophets, he's got the scripture, he's got everything that he needs to make the right decision. And so he's going to choose what he chooses. The Bible goes further on to say that if we are offended in our hand or in our eye, then we need to cut them off, because it's better to have just one of these things than to have 2 hands in hell into the fire that are never quenched. Okay, so he says that the fire of hell is never quenched. And he says that the worm dies not and the fire is not quenched. And then he goes on further to say, if your foot offends thee, it's better to cut it off rather than have 2 feet that are cast into hell. But he continuously says that there is a worm that dies not. So as I was going through the comments, and again, I don't know if this is true or not, because I really don't, I actually want to say really don't, I do not listen to psychics and things like that, the people that, I just don't, right, for obvious reasons. But, and I don't know if this was a psychic that said it, but they were saying how they were actually seeing dreams of Kobe as well. And he was playing basketball on a court in the dark by himself. And he was very lonely. And he wanted to quit playing. He was so tired, he wanted to quit playing, but he couldn't. And so when they were saying that, I was like, man, that kind of sounds like the whole, the worm never dies. And a lot of people were mentioning, okay, well, basketball was his God when he was alive. And so now, assuming that he's in hell, now, God is going to give you over to your desires. This is what you wanted. And so this is what you have. Now you don't even get any rest from this. On top of the other things that are being mentioned about hell. So again, the comments were saying, oh, it's like some people, it felt like it came to the realization like, oh no, Kobe might not be in heaven. Kobe might actually be in hell. Because there's no depiction of life in heaven that is full of torment and things like that, where you should be sad. Like there's no depiction of that. So where is it that Kobe is, that he would come back, if that's, he would come back and tell Lamar, oh, it's not what it's cracked up to be. And the scripture also says in hell, it's going to be weeping and gnashing of teeth. So I think that was a very, people are saying they're trying to write Lamar off as like he's trying to be a trickster, like he's trying to turn people away from Christ because, okay, well, if heaven is not this great place, then why should I even go? But I don't think I get it. I don't think that that's what I got out of it. I actually see a whole rich man and Lazarus type of dialogue between him and Kobe in his dream. He's like, it ain't cracked. It's not what it's cracked up to be. Yeah, because of where you are. So hopefully, maybe, Lamar will get, will change his life and get on the right path, because homeboy has been doing foolishness for a lot of years. And I feel like his life keeps getting saved over and over again. When they found him passed out and drugged in the brothel, and, he's getting caught up with, he's getting caught up. He's getting caught up in a lot of different things, so what are y'all's thoughts on that? You said, I stay away from fortune tellers. Some of them are really entangled in the occult, and you're opening the door playing with them. Yeah, I know a girl that went to one and that had serious spiritual attacks. Yeah, a lot of people don't understand the harm of it. But like you said, once you open that door, it's hard to close, especially if you're not a believer in the first place. Well, first of all, if you're a believer, you're not doing those type of things. But if you do find yourself caught up, fasting and prayer is how you get out of those things. But a lot of times people will actually go to, and they'll find another sorcerer. They'll find another witch to try to break the spell, and it's even more chaos, but again, a lot of people don't know that. They think you're just shaming them because of their belief systems and how they choose to practice, but it's really not that at all. It's because they said that you're ignorant and you don't know, and that's why you're talking down at them. No, it's because we do know. We do know about these things, and that's why we're talking down on them. Hello, good evening, Mr. Derry said. Good evening, I'm ready for this one. Yeah, it's deep, especially in the time that we're in. It's real deep. Again, a lot of people are getting spiritual awakenings, and again, I'm gonna just say this. Hopefully, this is Omar. This is Lamar's. Hopefully, it is. You said Kobe definitely isn't in heaven. The initiated never submit to Yeshua the Savior. Yeah. And a lot of people, a lot of people are also of the assumption that if you're a quote unquote good person, if you're not out killing and stealing and things like that, then you're automatically going to heaven. And that's not it. That's not it at all. Jesus said he is the way, the truth, and the life. No man comes to the Father but by me. And anybody else who tries to get in any other way, you're looked at as a thief and a robber. You know what I mean? Like we're going to have our own mansions. That means we're going to be able to walk through the front door. These people trying to climb in through the window and all that kind of stuff. Lord said, no. That's not what it's going to be. Now what it's going to be. He said, I remember when Kendrick Lamar performed in A Crown of Thorns at one of these award shows. Oh, I know. And I was never a big Kendrick Lamar fan. I've told y'all that a couple times, but that was when I saw that, I knew for sure, oh, he's not for me. For sure. Because I saw where he was trying to elevate himself to. I saw what position he was trying to put himself in. And no. No. You said they do rituals in plain sight today. I missed the day occultists met in dark rooms, at night and not on the TV screen out in the light. Yeah, but we're in the days of ISIS Unveiled. All the books that the Theosophists were writing and how, they used to be in the darks. They used to be in the caves and in these castles and stuff, in the basements doing this stuff. But now it's coming to the point where they have to put it out in the front. They're feeling like they're gaining more power in order to do that. And actually, I was watching a little clip earlier, and this guy was talking about Kobe's black magic and how he used to do that, how he would put, little tidbits, I guess you can say, in books. Because, at the end of his life, he had become an author, and he was actually publishing books and stuff. And so he was putting a lot of his theology in it. And, a lot of what he believed in was spiritualism. It was a lot of black magic. They always have done them in plain sight. Yeah, but I can agree to that too. But if you don't know what it is, then you definitely can't point it out. He said, I see a lot of new people pouring, which is great. But where is the regulars that were around for like a year? Haven't seen a handful of them in the last few lives. People get busy, or they may not agree. But I see them pop in, every now and then. But I know a lot of people get busy. Life be lifing. Life be lifing. You said that Kobe is not in heaven. He is with God, but not in heaven. Plus, he believed in Catholicism. Yeah, I saw that too. I saw that they said he was a practicing Catholic. And, that can go both ways, because there are Catholics that do believe in Jesus, but there are a lot that don't put their trust in Jesus. So, yeah, that could go either way. You just never know. You just never know. But like I said, we saw a lot of the magic he was practicing. He was writing a lot of books on it. So I don't know if it might have been that Santeria that he was practicing. We never know. He said, I've been here. I just don't always get a chance to catch the lives. Yeah. And Sundays, Sundays are up and down. Sometimes I got family wants to do something or whatever. I still have to work. And, so even sometimes I can't even make it. So these award shows always did rituals. We were just enjoying their performances. Yeah. Oh, man. Oh, yeah. But back in the day, like I told you, I probably found out about this stuff maybe a little bit over 20 something years ago. But before that, no, I really didn't have an understanding of this stuff. And I definitely didn't think that people were practicing this stuff out in the open. I would have never thought, ever. Good evening, Freddie B. How you doing? I basically watch zero TV, movies, or listen to today's music. It's all destructive occult symbolism in it. In the last 5 to 8 years, things have ramped up. You see the stuff in everything in pop culture. What's so crazy? Oh man, for whatever reason, I'm just scrolling through YouTube the other day and I saw Snow White, the Disney movie pop up. I said, you know what? Just for the nostalgia, I'm going to watch it. And I was actually quite surprised. That was one Disney movie where they brought up black magic, but they were condemning black magic. They were telling on the queen. They were like, nope, she practices this, she practices that. You need to stay away from it. And we know how Disney can be. Disney will definitely show you some pentagrams and all that kind of stuff. But that was a movie that I can actually say they were speaking against it. which is a surprise for me. But yeah, other than that, yeah, these people, and I'm actually coming to understand why it was that witches were supposed to be put outside of the town, or the gates. You weren't even supposed to let witches live. And I don't know if that was a literal or or what, or figurative. But are y'all hearing? There's a story going on. I think it's pretty viral at this point, but a lady comes to a hairdresser and she has chicken blood in her hair, and she wants the hairdresser to wash it out. And so she does. She's doing her job. She washes the chicken blood out. Next day, her daughter is dead. The hairdresser's daughter is dead. And I was like, see, this is why you can't even associate yourself with witches. Because even if you're not down with it yourself, these people can, and you're not covered in the blood of Jesus. You over here covered, washing chicken blood out. You're not covered in the blood of Jesus. These people can put these spells on you, or whatever they can touch you and transfer, spirits. There's so many things that these witches can do. And I'm just going back to say, I see why they had to be put outside the gates. They weren't supposed to have no dealings with this people whatsoever. And that's just so sad. That's just so sad. And I don't know about y'all. I wouldn't have done it anyway. I'd be like, no, you can go ahead and wash that out yourself. That's just me. A good start to understanding is reading Aries Western esotericism, hands down the best I've ever read. It breaks down stuff. I studied world religions for over a decade. The occult was always, hold on, scroll down, tied into it. I learned about everything: fraternity, orders, I can't read today. Secret societies, cults, etc. Yeah, bunch of random knowledge. Right. Yeah, I still have to check out that book. I know you told us about it before. I still have to check it out. And get my read on, but no, definitely just understanding different religions, and not to follow them, not to take little bits and pieces from this one and that one and mix it all together, but just so you can see, just so you can use your discernment. Just so you can use your discernment. See what is, what's what. If you search Kobe Bryant's massage, is that how you say it? You will see him talking with a purple snake puppet. Oh, for real? Let me see if I can. Snake puppet. Let me see if it'll pop up. Oh gosh. What is that supposed to be? Hold on, let me see if there's a video. Okay, I'll let that load. I'll see if that's a video to that. Yeah, they like, again, people make fun of Genesis and the talking serpent, but all of them seem to know about a talking serpent. It just, seems a little fishy to me. And I always bring that up, especially when I'm talking to atheists and things like that. I'm like, okay, but y'all will watch Harry Potter all day long. And that was one of his so-called gifts, was speaking in serpent language. Like, what are y'all saying? Nothing. I'm not saying nothing. Random, but I just saw something that said Bam the Bale's mom said he scored those 83 points on the night of his late grandmother's birthday, who died at 83. Yeah, a lot of them be into that murder by numbers type of thing. They're all into it. They're all into it. And I was really, I think what a lot of people love about the Lakers was Phil Jackson's triangle offense, or defense, whatever it is. I'm not that abreast in basketball, but and then when I found out what it was from, I was like, oh man, you too. Like they're all into it. You know, you've got a few scattered about that are like, nah, you know, all about Jesus, but they'll shut them up. They'll shut them up real quick. Okay, so they just have a picture of the puppet, but they don't really have a video of it. Yeah, they don't really have a video of it. You said you'll love the book. It covers everything about the Western occult, how it came to be, the theology, the symbolism. It gets into the doctrine of each occultic group and gives the backstory on them. Yeah, that definitely sounds interesting. But they definitely do not like that. He said in this chat, we not reading the code books, fam. Just give it up. No offense. Oh my. Oh my. But yeah, they're definitely trying to shut people up. I don't know if you've seen that. Let me get their names. Some of Netanyahu's boys. They have decided. I'm going to read this little article. It says 2 members of Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu's coalition in Israel have introduced legislation that would criminalize sharing the gospel of Jesus Christ. The bill, introduced by United Torah Judaism Knesset members Moshe Gafni and Yaakov Asher, would make it illegal to share the message of Jesus in conversation, online, in print, or through mail. Individuals who attempt to share the gospel could face up to 1 year in prison or up to 2 years if the message is shared with someone under the age of 18. The explanation attached to the bill specifically warns against Christian evangelism and calls for penalties for those who attempt to convert others by sharing the message of Jesus. This is what's going on. And I know that these people might not be in the position to just pack up and move, but they might need to pack up and move. They know what it is. This is what's so crazy. They know what it is. And they're not against any other religion. You could be a Satanist all day long. They love it. But how dare you try to preach the gospel of Christ? This is a shame. It's a shame. I don't believe in gematria. There's like 3 different types, and you can see something if you are determined to, but signs and symbols and numbers do hold significant value to the initiated ones. Yeah. Yeah, definitely try to stay away from that. And they even acknowledge that too. That's what's crazy about it. If you look it up, they're like, yeah, they know that there's different thoughts. It pretty much just depends on your perspective on it. So it's not a science. It's definitely not a science. So. Yeah, you said I saw that law. They are trying to put it into action. Yeah, and you know that they're going to succeed. They're definitely going to succeed. Because we know that there's going to be a time when the daily sacrifice is cut off. So I don't know if it's going to be, it might not be anytime soon, but the persecution is definitely going to happen. And then the beheading is definitely going to happen. So I'm actually seeing a lot of bills passing like that. There's a lot What's that guy that's up in New York that they just voted in? He's doing the same thing too. So it's not even just overseas. He's definitely, it's like they're covering, they're covering every area at the same time. And I actually wanted to look up Iran's Christian population, because I was listening to a testimony today about a guy who had converted from Islam to Christianity, and he is a preacher over there. And if it's a high number, it's another reason why they're doing what they're doing with these people. No, they don't have it. They don't have it like readily available. Mandani, yeah, he is wreaking havoc over there. He is wreaking havoc on them New York folk. But I mean, that's what they wanted. I don't know what to say. It's not an occultic book you slide in having no idea what you're talking about. It's a lecture out of Europe condensed into written form that digs into the history of the West and the occult. There was a guy who was really good at that. I want to say he was the very first Bible Answer Man, if you guys are familiar with that program. Hank Hanegraaff is over it now, but there used to be a guy, I know his name was Walter Martin, if I'm not mistaken. He was very abreast in different religions. And so if you guys ever, got some time, he definitely shows you the differences between them all. And because they try to say that every religion is the same. And that's just not true. Like, you really got to have very little knowledge in order to come to that conclusion. They're literally all different. But segueing, so Hillary is before Congress right now, and they are deposing her on the Epstein files. And I want you to get a glimpse of this chick right now. I want you to see this. I want you to see the question that they just asked her.
The truth out. We're just trying to get the truth out to the American people.
Well, that would be very helpful.
Are you aware of any files that were on Anthony Weiner's laptop in a folder that was titled insurance, life insurance, with a zip file titled frazzled?
This is way outside the chairman's ruling.
This is way
within the
outside
scope. Is this within the scope, Mr. Chairman?
If the chairman rules that it's not within the scope.
Mr. Chairman, based on what you said in the public hearing, is this within the scope?
You can go off the record for a moment.
Mr. Chairman, is this within the scope?
Go off the record.
They
just trying to get the
shut
truth out
that
there.
down so quickly. I didn't watch the whole thing, so I don't know if it was within the scope at all. But I just she finds it so funny. And I think that's what pissed a lot of people off in the comments, is that she, not only was she laughing, but as soon as they asked her the question, she put her hand to her face, and they were pretty much like, she's having muscle memory of the videotape. And they made sure, the information that needs to get out to the public, they're going to make sure that it doesn't get out. And I don't know if they need to hold a separate, case against her. I think they do, obviously, because there's no way that people have seen what they've seen on the videotape that they've asked her about, and she's walking around like a free woman. Absolutely no way. And there are bots in the comments like, it doesn't exist. It was just a fake video. It was just, they've got these bots doing a lot of work. They make sure that they are in every comment section calling this and that disinformation, when again, people have seen this with their own eyes. They've already testified about this. I don't want to call her a big face lady. She's what is that lady's name? It's not going to come to me. It's not going to come to me. But she's already spoken out about it in press conferences. So this is it's not a secret anymore. I don't even know if they ask her the right question. I don't even know. I felt like I think they're playing around in our faces. I think they're playing around. And so what's up? What's up? What's going on? You said I saw a video on IG that said the real Hillary died in 2018. Yeah, I've seen that as well. I've seen one clip where where her body is kind of limp. They said that she had passed away at that point after she found out that she was going to be indicted for the same video, for the same actions that we know about her. And they tried to put her in a van. They had a whole song about it. Matter of fact, it was a crazy song. They had a whole song about it. But yeah, I've read that too. And a lot of people in the comments actually were saying that she was a double. And you never know, because the face masks that they've come out with are so good, that you really wouldn't know. But the fact that she's laughing and playing around on the stand is just... And too many people in the comments were describing what they saw in the video. And so unless there's a conspiracy where all these people are getting together and say, oh, I saw this and I saw that and it's all the same, then that's one thing, but I doubt it. I always made a point to never watch it because somebody a long, long time ago, they asked me for a link to it, and I sent them the link, and I guess they went and watched it, and they came back and commented me, and they said that it was the most awful thing that they've seen in their life. And she's up on the stand laughing about it. You said, yep, they threw her in a van. Yeah, we saw the same video. Yeah. And, and they said that Bill was gone too. He looks old and decrepit, but they claim that he was gone too. But I also understood that we weren't seeing the information coming out in real time. We were actually seeing it before all this happened. So whatever we learned about, 6, 7, 8 years ago is what is actually happening now. I understood that to be what it was. They need to be hanged. If you dig into ancient religions, they all have similarities, like flood stories of reincarnation, like Tammuz, references to Ishtar, the sun having significance. Yeah. They definitely do. The names just change. But they all have, they're all good for personifying creation. They always creation, different aspects of creation are always gods to them. There's a god of the sky, there's a god of the moon, there's they like to do that. But yeah, definitely have similarities. The whole world is a stage indeed. Can't really know which one is real or not. All I know is that God is the source. Universal law and nature are one and the same. Basically, God is the Alpha and Omega. Yeah. Yeah. And even if these people don't pay for their crimes against humanity now, there's definitely judgment coming. And just like we talked about earlier about the weeping and the gnashing of teeth and them being separated from God, absolutely. This will be them. This will be them. I think we just want to see. I think we want to see the justice in the land of the living, pretty much. I don't know if y'all can hear that wind. That wind is blowing. The world is a stage, yeah. But they've made it like that. Excuse me. They've made it, I would say they've made it appear like that for sure, because these people have plans. They have been underground planning for centuries. And so again, we see it playing out now, but this is stuff that they've been planning for a long time. And they pass the plan down generation to generation to generation. Yeah, I know it is. Like it's never been, I've never heard it this, I've never heard it like this here in Texas. Now, when I lived in Virginia all the time, it was always windy. It felt like the whole house would shake type of thing, but I don't know what's going on. But yeah, it's amazing. Amazing time to be in. Let's see what else. You said I think the government is using HARP to disrupt the flow of the seasons. I definitely noticed temperature has changed. I don't remember ever really having winter here. Not for real. Like we'll have it maybe 1 or 2 weeks in February. We didn't get it at all this year. We had 3 days of cold and kind of icy, and that was when the rest of the United States was doing the same thing, but it literally went back up to the 80s, 90s the next week. So but so what I'm writing right now, and I thought I was going to be done yesterday, but I really had a lot of questions, and I don't finish writing until I'm done with my questions, and especially the questions I think other people would want to know the answers to as well. But it has to do with seasons and what creates the seasons according to these heliocentrists. But I guess I don't know, but off that, I'll get that out soon. But I don't know why they would need to, what would be the reason for them disrupting the seasons? Not saying I don't agree. I agree that they're definitely doing some funky things, but What would be the reason? I don't know if they're trying to unthaw Antarctica because of the things that are supposedly, that encased in ice and stuff there that they need certain so-called angels, not for real angels, spiritual angels, but so-called creatures and different things like that they want to unthaw to wreak havoc. I don't know. My dad is a retired colonel. I went on base with him a few times. They had an underground section to the base for storage. It was huge. That's one that's known. What about the others? In Dallas, they literally have a cloud machine. You can watch the clouds come out of the factory. There's videos about it to get your attention for a while. Then nothing I've seen. It's too weird. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I heard about their cloud machine as well. I just don't. What is the motive? Like, what is the reason for all this? I don't know if it's so that they can. I feel like part of it's for depopulation. Like what they did with Jamaica, and they were turning the hurricanes to go towards the land so that they can, get the insurance money or whatever. But also, when if they can create more tornadoes than what would normally be and wipe more people out, and they need to create space for their new cities that they're trying to build, these smart cities and these camps and stuff. I mean, I guess there's a lot of reasons why. If you control the seasons, you control the food supply, okay? And production of materials. Look what happened to Dubai. They seeded clouds forever and had floods and admitted to seeding. Oh, really? I mean, definitely know about cloud seeding, but I didn't know that Dubai was in on it as well. Yeah, I mean, that's got to be it. And the crazy thing is they don't care. Like one of their own could be swept away and it wouldn't even matter because the plan is what matters. It doesn't matter the casualties. They're willing to, anybody could be a casualty. They don't care. And I'm pretty sure, I think I put it on, I don't know what video that was in, but I talked about the time that seeding went the wrong way. Like, what happened, what goes wrong when that guy seeded the clouds way too much and caused flooding and so much damage. I can't remember what video that's in. But it's nothing but another form of witchcraft. Bringing the clouds is a literal type of witchcraft. And I don't know if they're talking about literally, bringing the clouds. It would make sense because rainmakers and stuff and all that, but it also means to do things at a particular time. You said, I think the reason is more esoteric and metaphysical in the spiritual. Hold on. Uh-oh. They don't want humans to regain a sense of spiritual self. Remember the blood moon being available for humans to access. Okay. I can see that. No, I don't remember the blood moon. You said the blood moon was available for humans to access. You said, "Oh man, I can't believe you didn't see that. You have some research to do. It was all over mainstream news. I was so surprised they admitted to it, and then to us politician, the U.S. politicians admitted to seeding clouds. No, not Dubai. Yeah, I hadn't heard about Dubai. Yeah, America. Yes, I definitely know about that, but not Dubai. Yeah, blood moons are a sign and a wonder from God. Yeah. Oh, are you trying to say that they're like creating um like they're creating these blood moons as well? And these different signs and wonders? Because I can see how it throws us off, right? It throws us off the timeline because we're supposed to be able to understand, especially when the end times, the tribulation and all that by certain signs that we see in the sky. But if they're already doing it, here and there outside of God's control, I can see how that throws people off. Yeah, I think I did see something about that. A blood moon appeared over a week ago in March. I think I did see that. Like somebody had a picture of it, but when I went outside, it wasn't a blood moon to me. So I didn't know what that was about. I didn't know if I was too late or what. Oh, I was like, okay, so supposedly they're supposed to occur at least twice a year. Mm. It was bad. They had rain for weeks and major flooding. The damage was huge all over the news. Mm. Mm-mm. Is Dubai a place that usually rains? Okay, so let me read this article because like I said, I didn't know about Dubai. This is crazy. He said, it says Dubai is situated on the coast of the United Arab Emirates and is usually very dry, but while it receives less than 100 millimeters of rain in a year on average, it does experience occasional extreme downpours. Okay, get to the point where they were seeding. Okay. Okay, cloud seeding involves manipulating existing clouds to help produce more rain. This can be done by using aircraft to drop small particles like silver iodide into clouds. Water vapor can then condense more easily and turn into rain. The technique has been around for decades, and the UAE has been using it in recent years to help address water shortages. In the hours that followed the floods, some social media users were quick to wrongly attribute the extreme weather solely to recent cloud seeding operations in the country. They always try to dismiss it. While the BBC has been unable to independently verify when cloud seeding took place, experts say that at best it would have had a minor effect on the storm, and that focusing on cloud seeding is misleading. They are liars. They are liars. They wouldn't be doing it if there was if it was just a minor change in the rainfall. That's not what happens. They do things and then they try to dismiss it when people call them out about it. That's what makes me so upset about them. Again, they want you to seem like you're the crazy one. Ugh, they make me upset. There's been tons of blood moons since Christ. There's talked of them in the Bible, and people saw them as signs. Yeah, not at all. It's basically in the desert. That's why they did the seeding. Okay, yeah. 100 millimeters is smaller than centimeters. That's basically a drought city. Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, so they're trying to make it seem like, oh, yeah, we did it, but we didn't really do it. Like, quit lying. Crazy. So much misinformation that you have to weed out for the truth. Yeah, you do. You definitely have to read between the lines. You definitely have to, because they, yeah. And do more research, like ask questions and do more research. Because if you don't, because they'll say one thing in one article and another thing in another article, and you kind of just have to mesh the information together and pick out where they were lying at. It's a mess. Oh, there's some good videos from news channels. You'll have to watch one of them. They show the camera footage from one of the planes doing a regular route to seed. Yeah. I don't know why they can't just, let nature do its thing. They always want to play God. Always want to play God. Yes, there are. Yes. You say any videos, Patreon's in the work. Yes, I have videos. I'm almost done with this one. But my next little mini dive on Patreon, I really wanted to talk about the surrogacy farms. But the information is so obscure. But yes, I yes, to answer your question, I do. I just got to get them out. It was a long week this week, but I've got to delve into this and tell me if you've heard about it, because I definitely heard, like, about the Cabbage Patch Farms and and all that kind of stuff, but they're saying that the Carters have bought into these surrogacy farms. And I'm just really disturbed by that. I'm really disturbed by that. Because it's one thing to have surrogates, and I won't go too much because, like I said, I'll make a video on it. But it's one thing to willingly volunteer to be a surrogate, right? But if you're using women like you use dogs in a puppy mill, that's crazy. Have you seen puppies that have been used in puppy mills? It's sad. It's really sad. They look so worn out, and some of these puppies have never had a chance to do anything else in their life but either, yeah, it's crazy. Either they're the impregnators, and that's all that they're allowed to do, and so they are literally pooped out from humping, or obviously you're the one that's giving birth. And so when these people want these, especially when they want these weird kind of mixes of dogs, yeah, some of the breeds, that's all they're used for. It's crazy. Yeah, don't. And they used to have breeding plantations in slavery days. I wouldn't be surprised. They probably take a big hunk of a man, somebody with good. Matter of fact, I want to say that there was a video going around of one of these NBA commissioners talking about that same thing. And yeah, of course, you want to have the best build. It wasn't like that. The way that he was talking about the basketball players that he chose, it was a weird. He was saying something really weird. I don't know if they're, doing things with these players and like kind of making them their, girlfriend type of thing. But it was a really weird. If I can find it, I'll post it. I'm actually kind of disturbed just thinking about it. But yeah, I bet they did have breeding plantations. I bet they did. But to have celebrities buying into it, like what? I don't know. I'll look into it. I gotta do some digging. In my honest opinion, those farms have a close relation to the LGBTQ, I just added letters, community, because they're trying to promote some sex families. It's just a plot to destroy the family dynamic. Oh, they're trying to promote same-sex families. Oh, that's crazy. They're definitely trying to destroy. They're just, okay. Have y'all seen, speaking of basketball and LGBT, goodness gracious, have y'all seen, what's that boy name? EJ, Magic Johnson's son, what he's going on camera saying these days? Oh man, this man tried to claim that he is not attracted and he doesn't pull gay men. And he said he looked better. When he was growing up and when he first started wearing dresses, he realized that he looked better in the dresses than the women. He's just going on this rant. And so people in the comments are some people are defending him, saying, well, we know, people in the community know what he means by straight, straight men, they like, and it's like, y'all have now changed the definition of what a straight man is. Y'all are now trying to say that straight men are attracted to feminine men, and that defeats the purpose. So they're definitely, any way that they can destroy the family, they absolutely are. But I think what they're doing also is that they've dug themselves in a hole, right? They've done all this LGBT promotion. They've done all this, women. Not that women don't have to have children if they don't want them. And I'm not talking about having ABs. I mean, literally, you do not have to get pregnant and have children. But there's more of a push these days for women not to have children. And so with these two groups, being as strong as they are, the population is dying down. So now you've got to come up with ways to rebuild the population. So again, you have these farms, you have they're making robots that can supposedly carry babies. It's just a mess. Again, they tear down what God creates and then they try to build it up and play him. It's just so stupid. Um, like for people, which is why they wanted to make more slaves when bringing new slaves in was outlawed. Yeah. And they want to make strong slaves. Yeah. They're going to get the cream of the crop. A lot of those NBA players have fathers who played in the league or other family. It definitely is a thing where they look for the best stock per se, which is crazy. Yeah. Yeah. He said, hi. He said, one day do a video on if the Obama kids are the actual children of Barack and Michelle, since you will be covering surrogacy. Okay. I'll do my best. I feel like that information is hidden as well. And matter of fact, Chili from the group TLC is under a lot of fire right now because apparently she, I guess she reposted or she liked a post that was talking about how Michelle Obama is a man. And so they're thinking that she's going to get canceled for that. I don't think she's going to get canceled for that because there's so many people on both sides of the aisle. Some people think she's a man. They're like, where your baby pictures at? Where are your pregnancy pictures at? You know, all that kind of stuff. And then there's other people that don't agree. So yeah, it'll definitely be kind of hard, but I'll see what I can dig up. I'll see what I can dig up. But a lot of people were bringing up the fact that, and I didn't know this as far as surrogacy farms are concerned. I guess they were trying to say that the Carters were buying into this. And of course they brought up the whole, when Beyonce had that so-called, the fake belly on TV and it folded. So yeah, I'm gonna have to dig into it. Sounds interesting. Have you ever seen the videos of people who own private planes who are paid to seed the clouds with heavy metals and stuff like barium and bismuth? Aya did? No, they show the planes and how the stuff is spread. No, I haven't seen it. And it's just amazing what people will do for money. That's all I can say about that. Like, how much is it worth for you to, one, be the person that's spraying and poisoning the land and the crops and things like that, poisoning people's neighborhoods? And how much are they paying you to seed these clouds, which could possibly cause floods and wipe out large numbers of people? Cause crazy weather patterns and all. Like, how much is it worth? It's just people's minds. Yeah, Magic Johnson's son is a lunatic. Yeah, he really is. I never heard him talk before this, and this is the first thing out his mouth is yeah. He's crazy. He said, I'm gonna keep it real. I might ruffle some feathers, but what I've discovered is that not all, but many people in the gay community made a choice to live that way. It's a life choice, in my opinion. And you know what? They are getting upset at people calling it a lifestyle. They're getting upset. But no, it definitely is a choice, especially because there's a lot of people that are actually coming out of it. God is bringing a lot of people out of, and I'm gonna say it, he's bringing a lot of people out of that lifestyle. But the thing is, they want so bad for everybody to be gay. That's that's a big issue with it. They want everybody to be gay. And they've got so many of these channels coming out where they're like, DL Whisperer type channels where they're trying to tell you who's gay and who's not. And a lot of things that they say is just ridiculous. It's like, okay. And again, you have so many women who are following after these men, and they're getting their advice from them. And I get it. They've probably been hurt by, by some of these men, but dang, they're weeding out so much of the population. They ain't never gonna find nobody. You can't carry an umbrella. You can't, drink a fruity drink. You can't there's so many things that guys are not allowed to do these days, or else they'll be labeled. It's just ridiculous. Magic Johnson is really Dennis Rodman in another skin suit and mask playing the character. Ooh, that's a mask for you. That's a mask for you. I like watching the NBA drafts. I don't watch sports at all, but I watch when they do the picks. I watch the handshakes and see who's initiated, and who's not. They always snitch on themselves with the symbolism. Yeah. Mm-hmm. I feel like you can kind of, see already. Because like you said, a lot of them come up in it. Like for me, Steph Curry's definitely, he's definitely initiated. I haven't seen him throw up no signs, but even with the whole thing about him having magnets in the ball, I literally believe that. Yes, he can be a great shooter, but I think there's magnets in his ball, in the hoop. Homosexuality and transformer stuff goes back to the Ishtar days. It's sus. Her servants mutilate their genitals, and she can fake a man and make him a woman. Her man servants take on women's clothing. Yeah. Yep. A lot of important people use Christianity as a marketing ploy. They always mention God, but they don't say which God. Yeah. And we're seeing that a lot. Definitely a lot of the popular pastors that are on TV. I hate to even call them pastors, but like the Jamal Bryants of the world. It's like, that he's pimping. Did you see, matter of fact, and I'm so glad that people are now calling it out. Of course, there's a lot of people that are still lost in the sauce, but one pastor, I don't even know what church he's from, but he told his congregation that he was going to need to see their tax returns so he can see whether or not they were paying their tithes. He was going to have to review each and every one of them. And people were amening in the congregation. It's just, I just don't get it. I just don't understand. The main reason why I said that is life choice, because I've talked to some gay people and they told me it was from their environment. Some had two parents, but still made a choice to be that way. Yeah, I had a guy before he passed away. He told me, because I asked him straight up one day, and he told me that he pretty much didn't want the responsibility of being a man. He had sisters. He had a couple brothers. As a matter of fact, I think he was molested by one of his brothers, if I'm not mistaken. But yeah, he didn't want that. He didn't want the burden of being a man. And so he turned effeminate. I was like, okay. I mean, it didn't make sense to me, but it makes sense to him. One good example is VH1 celebrity named Zell Swag. He stated that his father taught him how to be a man first, but later on he made the choice on who he wanted to be. Yeah, a lot of them are running away from, I guess, the role. Yeah, they're running away from the role of being a man. I guess they see how hard it is, how society treats them. They don't want any parts of it, but I mean, you're still a man at the end of the day. I don't know. Again, I can't wrap my head around it, but But whatever. But thankfully, again, a lot of people are getting called out of the lifestyle. A lot of people are detransitioning, which is good. You know, they look great going back to who God made them. A lot of people in different religions are getting saved. A lot of, there's a lot of people that are turning to Christ. It's a good thing to see. Bring back the 90s and early 2000s when it was gay to be gay. 2006 is doomed. Yeah. You didn't really see a lot of the foolishness that we see these days. And I know they always try to say, oh, well, it's always been around. Yeah, it has always been around. But we always knew like one person or one or two people, and they weren't out in the open arguing with people, and it definitely wasn't all over the TV. They weren't fighting to get into the bathrooms and into women's sports and all that kind of stuff wasn't going on. You know, the children weren't mutilating themselves and cutting their breast off and cutting their genitals off. That wasn't happening. But Satan's got his hold on so many people. That's really what it is. He's got his. He does. He does. He said, this is my last time talking about this subject, but I know a female who is married to her female lover, working on her second child, and is a school principal. She's working on her second child with who? Like, who are you? What? So you're going to go grab somebody else's sperm to have a family with somebody else? And they'd be wondering why these children are confused. And then, it's also a double standard as well. I saw this one clip. This guy had adopted. I don't know if he adopted her or if he got her through surrogate. But anyways, he has a little girl now, and people in the comments were pissed off. How dare he want a girl child? What would he want with, they were pretty much insinuating that he wanted to do something ungodly to the girl child. But at the same time, you don't have a problem with these gay couples adopting children, especially like these gay men adopting these little boys. Like, please forgive me, but you like penis and you want me to give you a child with a penis? That doesn't make sense to me. I'm so sorry, y'all. Oh Lord. I had to say it though. I was already there. I had to say it, but it doesn't make sense to me. Okay, I'm let me just go to the next comment because I'm just baffled. I support the rooftop policy for homosexuality. Listen, I love everybody. I just hope everybody reads the word and don't try to twist it for their own agendas. I think we all can be saved. I think God wants us all to be saved. And I actually feel bad about the people that have passed on and are still in that, who are still in that lifestyle, or any lifestyle that would send us to hell. So the Bible says it's an abomination. It's clear. Yeah, it is clear. It's very clear. It is clear I had that people try to cherry pick doctrine. Yeah. But I've noticed that people, I noticed that people are very sensitive about that topic. It's like they know that God doesn't want us to murder. He doesn't want us to steal. He doesn't want us to, be idolaters. They know all this other stuff. And even though they can see that he doesn't like homosexuality as well, that's the one thing that they get sensitive about. And they're like, no, 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 no. Like we have to accept it. I don't know what it is about that particular behavior that people feel the need to defend. I really don't know. That's another thing that baffles me. They will go hard in the paint trying to defend it. I don't know. I'm sorry, y'all. I'd be thinking about. I guess she might be using in vitro or something. I don't know. Overall, it will confuse the children in the end. Adoption or not, the children must understand the dynamic of male and females. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, we all need a nice balance. We all need a nice balance of mom and dad if we're able to. I know that we weren't, it's not everybody's, it's ideal. I know it's not everybody's situation, but it is ideal. But to purposely do it. Like there's a big movement right now of children don't need their fathers. That's what they're saying. They're saying that children do not need their fathers. It's just crazy. Target lost $6 billion when they went radical. Yeah, and people boycott them. That's the stuff we have to fight. That's what we have to do to fight this degeneracy. Yeah, I never was a Target shopper either, anyways, but I definitely see no reason to go in there. And it's crazy because even the people in the community were going into Target and looking at the clothes for the kids. They were like, "Why? Why would you do this?" So again, and I'll say this. I meant to say this when I was talking about EJ as well. There's a guy in the community by the name of Funky Dineva, and he actually came out and spoke out because when EJ sat down to interview, he had sat down with I want to say he's one of the co-creators of the Love and Hip Hop franchise, and he's a gay man. And Funky Dineva was saying, well, why didn't you push back on EJ when he was saying that nonsense? And so I'm glad that we actually have people in that community that are speaking up because, like I said, they'll jump down our throats. We'll be everything but a child of God. And so I'm glad that their own people are correcting them. He said, fine, if no one's going to ask, I'll do it. What's your thoughts on what's going on with the wars in scripture? Ooh. I see we're getting closer to the end times. That's all I can say. I mean, I know we've been in the end times for a long time, but I see it unfolding for sure. Especially like we talked about earlier with them trying to cut off being able to evangelize to people. It's going to come to the point where I think it's already come to the point in a lot of places where they're not allowed to pray. They're not allowed to, call in the name of Jesus. I think a couple episodes ago, I said wars and rumors of wars. I think all this is coming real fast, actually. I don't really know how much more time we have left. I'll say that. Like, I can't see us having like 20, 30 years. Because if I'm not mistaken, they got Agenda 2030 that they've been working really hard on, and a lot of stuff is coming to pass. They got a lot of countries that have bought in and are doing their part to bring it about. I mean, it's going real fast. So that's really all I can say about that. I think it's really crazy, especially reading scripture, how so many people are, whether they know it or not, are on the side of the enemy. It's like, what? I just don't know where the confusion lies. I guess because, they say, well, Jesus is a Jew, so, he's got to be for Israel. And it's like, are y'all not paying attention? Are y'all not? And again, this is like we talked about earlier, this is the reason why you should know the differences in the different religions. There's a big, big difference with Judaism and Christianity. Judaism does not believe in Jesus as the Messiah. They do not believe in Jesus as the Messiah. Matter of fact, they're still waiting on their Messiah. And the Bible says that anybody that says that Jesus didn't come in the flesh is a who? Antichrist. Anybody who is matter of fact, just lump it all in. Anybody who is opposed to Jesus Christ is an antichrist. There should be no confusion. None. So it's literally in the name, Antichrist. There should be no confusion. But yet people are really siding with the people who are trying to shut us up, who are committing genocide on the Christians, who are like, it's just, it's way too much. It's just way too much. Sorry for bringing this up. She was my childhood crush. I used to call her my Black Topanga. Remember the female character? Yeah, I remember Boy Meets World Topanga. Yes, that was. And are you talking? And this is the lesbian girl. Is that the Black Topanga? Sorry, I'm trying to follow. I'm just making sure. He said, for a while, I thought we might be in the fig tree generation, but it seems like system is coming together quicker. It's coming real fast. But that's because again, they've had these plans for centuries, and they know where they've been putting their key players in position under our noses. If you pay attention to all the top people in these companies and these fraternities and these sororities, and all, they're all a part of it, and they've all been working together for a very long time. And I think that if we would have been, one mind in Christ like we were supposed to be a long time ago, then we would have at least been able to thwart this for longer. But they've got a lot of they have a lot of good serpent-tongued people that know how to twist the scripture or talk against it and if you're not paying attention to the evidences that both sides are bringing forward, then yeah, you'll get lost in the sauce. My people perish for lack of knowledge. Ashkenazi Jews aren't real Jews. Nope. No, they're not. Free America from Israel. Shoot, there's way too many of them are down. Way too many of them. Way too many of them. You said even Muslim doctrines recognize Jesus Christ. Yeah, they recognize him, but they only recognize him as a great prophet and teacher. They don't recognize him as God. But I don't know if I've talked in depth about this or what all I said about it, but there's a lot of channels that have been really, really driving home the Islamic dilemma, and it's bringing a lot of the Muslims to Christ, which is obviously a good thing. But the Muslim dilemma is if the Quran is true, then Islam is false. And if the Quran is false, then it's still false. And the reason for that is because it tells them in the Quran to believe in their books. The people of the books are supposed to believe in the scriptures that were written before them. And so obviously, if we go by what is written in our scriptures before us, before Islam came into play, we know that way back in Isaiah, God promised that a child would be born to a virgin and they would call his name Jesus. And he was going to be the anointed one. He was going to be the Messiah. He was going to be the one who took the sins upon himself and became the savior of the whole world. And it even goes further when you get to like Isaiah like 53, it talks about his death and crucifixion and how his body would be broken and different things like that. But yet you have Islam that tells you, okay, believe in your scriptures, but and then it goes on to start contradicting the scriptures. So, but again, I gotta get an Islam video out. There's a lot to discuss with that. Yes, I was referring to the lesbian girl. I'm sad now just thinking about her. Oh my goodness. What's worse is that she told her mother that she liked girls when she was in the 7th or 8th grade. Shoot, I don't know I don't know what to say. I don't know what to say. I think because obviously the argument is that people are born that way. And I do think that we're born with all kinds of inclinations. I don't know if that's one of them or if it's just an environmental type of thing, but there are little kids that murder. They'll do all kinds of stuff, even from a young age. And so even if we are born with inclinations towards a particular sin, that is the reason why we have to be born again. He wants to impute in us new desires. He's trying to call us back to the way things were before the fall. And then we know a lot of people got confused because, you know, they were touched on. So it's really, you know, I can see both arguments, but I really don't lead into the they were born that way type of deal, unless again that's just the type of sin you were inclined to. It's just the spirit of homosexuality was abiding within her. That's all. Yeah, for sure. For sure. And there was nobody to drive that spirit out. Because again, you got a lot of people that don't think there's nothing wrong with it. So they don't treat it like something that needs to be stopped. I said, I think it's a lifestyle choice. When you dig into a lot of their stories, there was some type of sexual abuse. Yeah. Early on in life. Yeah, for sure. Yeah. A lot of them will tell you that. A lot of them will tell you that. All right, y'all. Well, I know it's getting late. I'm gonna head on out of here. But again, I do have videos coming for Patreon and for YouTube. Again, if you have any topics you need me to explore, just let me know. I'll try to throw them together if I can find enough information on them. I hope you guys have a great rest of your week. I hope it goes well for you. And I will talk to you soon. He said, this is why discernment is key. It's needed to avoid the snares, pitfall, and traps in life. Yeah, it is. Oh, yeah, that's another thing that I wanted to say. I know that I haven't done reading through the Bible in a while. I've been really praying on it because I love that I'm just reading, but I also want to expound on things a little bit more. I just don't know if I just don't know. I just don't know about that part yet. I don't know about the expounding on things. I mean, I know I talk about certain parts of the Bible here with you all, but I don't know if I am equipped for a full-on Bible study, if that makes sense. But it's something that I'm in prayer about. What I might do is put them together like I do my videos and kind of do a deep dive on certain subjects. But again, still in prayer about that. Hopefully I'll be able to bring it back soon. But I just wanted to put that out there. But yeah, definitely discernment is key. And you have to know what these things mean. You know, you got to know what things mean so that when people say, oh, you just calling it witchcraft, it's because, no, I'm calling it witchcraft because it's witchcraft. Calling it evil because it's evil. You know, so anyway, I'll let y'all go. But anyways, thank you guys so much for joining. Thank you for liking, sharing, commenting, subscribing, all that good stuff. Because I think I'm shadow banned in a lot of places. A lot of people are not able to just pull up my channel and gander. So I appreciate the ones that are here and they find their way. So Thank you so much for the support, y'all. I will talk to you soon, though. Have a good week. Bye for now.